let's start from the beginning. How'd you get started in the industry? I know you moved to LA initially, right?
Yeah, so I always wanted to be a storyteller. I was, wrangling the kids in the neighborhood and making them put on plays when we were kids. Um, and then I went to college for theater. And when I started school, I was interested in directing and writing and acting, but I got kind of intimidated. And it was scary to me as an 18-year-old to try and rally people to act in my plays. So I turned more toward acting because that seemed like something that was acceptable for a young woman. Like it was just fear. And then I moved to LA and I've been acting for a long time. And then I realized that I was not happy. And that was because I wanted to be telling the stories myself. And it just wasn't satisfying to audition and get cast in something or not cast in something. And I was really, really jealous of filmmakers. And I used that jealousy sort of as a guidepost. I was like, oh, that which I'm most jealous of means it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So then I started making my own stuff. Just like the first film was a $50 one-day shoot.
And as a female director, have you faced any challenges in the industry since it's a predominantly male field right now?
One thing that has been a challenge, which it surprised me, getting projects going, I would want to hire female crew, and often was met with, the people I was talking to saying, well, I would love for you to hire a female DP, but I don't know any. And that has been a surprising thing of realizing that just because I can get something going doesn't mean that the industry has changed at all. And so I have to really source and not fight, but really advocate to get other women hired as my team.
How do you prepare on set, before set, maybe pre-production? Do you believe in rehearsals?
Ooh,
How do you prepare as a director?
If I can get a rehearsal with the actors, that is the number one most amazing, best thing that can possibly, for me, be done ahead of time. Because most other things I can do on my own, but to have the actors have had the opportunity to try it a bunch of different ways, to explore, to play without the pressure of having to shoot and make your day is priceless. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I work really closely with my DP and production designers that the whole frame is really important to me. So I need to maybe release a little bit of control about this, but I plan the way the entire shot looks, like where a plant is in frame, where a picture is in frame, exactly what the colors are. Everything is really pre-planned.
When you approach an actor to give them direction, how do you give them direction? Like maybe let's say like they're struggling to maybe get the vision that you want, they're seeing it maybe in a different way. How do you approach that conversation?
That's a good question. I think each actor has their own way of needing to be approached. If the main thing is casting. So hopefully, the person that if cast is already in tone with and understands what I want to happen. So it's relatively minor adjustments because they're already in the character. But the main thing I try to do is give an actor something fun that they can play that will light them up. Like I want a note to be like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then they, launch into the scene.
Can you give like an example that you might have done?
So, in one instance, we're playing a fight scene, and I told an actor to go into the scene believing that she was going to win and resolve it and things were going to work out. So then that completely changed the arc of the scene, so that by the time it did end up in the fight, she was surprised by where it had gone.
I became a fan of you when I saw you on Rebel Without a Crew.
Thank you.
I related to you the most, and I just related to your experience, and I started following your work since then. So,
Thank you so much.
do you want to talk about a little bit of that experience, making the film, being on the show, and even working with Robert Rodriguez, who's a legend? It's so cool.
I mean, it's funny. Rebel Without a Crew was such an intense experience. We were moved to Austin. We were all living in a house together. We had cameras following us 24 hours a day. We didn't have doors on our bedrooms. It was like, you're on a reality show, but you're also making a movie. So I think like I was so stressed and sleep deprived that it is sort of a blur of, I can't believe I did that. But in retrospect, I mean, one, it was the best, most amazing experience of my entire life. And it just transformed me. The idea of being at film camp with Robert Rodriguez as our advisor, and then, just out of our lives being able to shoot and edit and then talk to Robert and then plan and have Troublemaker Studios at our disposal. Like, I feel like it's a dream when I think about it now. And then I'll pick up my phone and make a tiny little video and do a quick edit. And I'm like, I can do that because of Rebel Without a Crew, because of Robert Rodriguez. But it really was a whirlwind. Like, it feels like a dream.
What have you done that you think's benefited your career thus far, that got you to where you're at today? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the number one thing I did that changed my career and benefited it the most was making a short film called Three-Legged Dog that I co-wrote with my fiance and directed and acted in. And it was really low budget. We shot the whole thing, I think, for $800. And then I ended up putting maybe $400 into the post-production. It's a maybe 6.5 minute film, but it was my vision and it was really specific. And it was the thing that opened up all of the doors for me. It's what Robert Rodriguez saw that got me on the show. It got into festivals. And it keeps surprising me that that's the thing, because it was so low budget and it was so simple, 3 scenes, but just making my own work and not waiting for anyone else to say yes and being like, it doesn't matter what I have. I'm just going to, gather the resources and the friends that I have and make what I can, as quickly as possible. And just making that decision changed the course of everything.
What advice do you have to fellow filmmakers?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm so grateful that you're asking me this question, but I feel so unqualified. Like, it's blowing my mind that you're asking me, because I'm like, how did you do it? How did you go to film school? Like, how do you have financing? I basically don't know. And every day I wake up and I'm like, I wonder what I should do today. And then, following that curiosity. So the only thing that I know that has worked for me is making my own work. And so whatever you're doing, like, don't wait for anyone to say yes. Don't believe that you need to wait for money or financing. Like, you have a phone in your pocket, almost everyone does. If you're making stuff, then you're headed in the right direction.
Thank you, Bonnie. That's all the questions I have for you, unless you have any last words.
Oh my gosh, no, I'm like I said, I'm overwhelmed. I think this is so cool. I'm like, me? Are you sure you want to ask me questions about filmmaking? I think it's just like having fun and telling stories and tapping into our childlike sense of storytelling. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing. And oh, you know what? That's not true. I do have a thing that filmmaking is collaborative, and finding a group of people who you can help and work with and rise together. That is the secret. Like the Rebel Without a Crew friends that I've made, we work together, we share scripts, we send each other edits, we give each other notes. Um, that is like the most important thing that I can recommend. Like go crew on your friend's short, then have them crew on yours. Really like build a community of people that you can rely on who help you make your films, because it is such a heavy lift. You need a team of people working together to bring it to life.